הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome. Welcome all of you who are here in person. We have a few congregants visiting in our main sanctuary. And also we welcome everyone online, of course. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for letting us into your homes once again. It's so amazing to see some faces finally in the sanctuary. This is a new beginning. Literally a new beginning. It's the Shabbat Bereishit, which means the Sabbath of the beginning. Why? Because we start reading Parashat Bereishit, the Genesis, the beginning of all. So I don't believe it's a coincidence. I believe it's something special that we have here. And we also welcome our amazing team this morning. Good morning, Cantor Leslie.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It is so wonderful to see people here. Some people who have been chatting all year long. To have you here in the sanctuary is so nice. Faces I haven't seen in such a long time. And it's so nice to see you all online this morning who've joined from home. Thank you so much for seeing us through these tough times, but also for being here for this moment, both online and in person. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. Hi, Tali.
Boker Tov.
Boker Or, Shabbat Shalom. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm tired. We brought a puppy home, so
You have a puppy.
it's quite the Shabbat.
New beginnings.
Well, that's why I don't have a puppy.
Yeah.
So I can be here early singing and playing the piano.
Yes.
Good to see you.
Me too.
Bill Wiseman, in the other side of the sanctuary. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Good
Shalom,
morning. How are you
everyone.
doing?
Welcome. Nice to be here to finally see some faces, even though they're behind the mask or masks. Nice to see you here. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. And the one and only, our audiovisual director, Marvin Polanski, right in the back. You see, all of you who are here, you can actually see him waving for the first time.
He's a live
If you're at
person.
home, you can never see his hand, but he goes like this every morning. Welcome, Marvin. We are so grateful to have you here. And as I was saying, this is the Shabbat Bereishit, the Shabbat of the beginning. And there is something very interesting that I think we can all learn every time we come to synagogue. Every time we come to synagogue. This Torah portion is also talking about the very first sin, the very first transgression of human beings, which was eating from the fruit. Remember? And then what happened is you keep reading and you realize that the snake was the one pushing Adam and Eve to eat from that tree. So the snake received a very interesting punishment, which was, from now on, you're going to eat from the dust of the earth. And I always thought, this is a real story. I always thought, okay, that's quite a punishment. It's disgusting. Who wants to eat the dust of the earth, right? It's something like, but I remember I was in Chile. I was in a birthday party of a friend. And it was this guy who I didn't recognize at the very beginning, but later I realized he was a TV celebrity. He had a kids show. His TV show name is Professor Rosa. which means the pink professor or something like that. And he's fascinated by animals and biology. And we were talking about this, and he was saying to me, it's not a religious person. He was saying, I said, do you think that's a punishment? Do you know what a favor God did to the snake now that can go all around and can get food, whatever it wants it? There is no effort. Food for the snake is everywhere. That's not a punishment. Ouch. I said, it may have a point. So I went to talk to a rabbi after that. It's because it bothers me. He may have a point. And the rabbi laughed. And he said, the guy doesn't know it. You can tell that he's not a religious person. Because basically, what God said to the serpent is, here you have your food. I don't want to talk to you ever again. So the snake had everything it wanted without any effort. Everything went smooth. But when things go like that in our life, when you never need anything, when you never have a challenge, you never have the need to reach out to God. So the punishment for the snake is God saying, you're going to have everything you want, but I don't want to see you ever again. And that's a terrible punishment. And I know that we all go through things in life. We all went through things as a community, right? And now we are finally seeing a little bit of light. But I believe there is something that all these challenges made us do is to reach out to God. And that is a blessing. Sometimes in life we have these challenges here and there. And there's a reminder that God is there and God is eager to establish a relationship with us. The snake couldn't have that relationship, but we can. And we should use this opportunity to strengthen or maybe even start a strong relationship with the Creator of the world. In order to do that, the first thing we have to do is to count our blessings. And for that, I would like to invite everyone, the sanctuary, at home. By the way, if you're at home, please download the Siddur, szwinnipeg.ca/book, page 5. Please write for the Birkot Shachar, the morning blessing.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher natan lasech vivina lebchim ben yom uben layla.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani betzamo.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani bat chorim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael.
Amen.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivri.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, bisharumi.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, atir asuri.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufi.
Amen.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa li kol tzorki.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzadek havel.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael bigvura.
Amen. Together.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorai, Tehorai, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten layav koach.
Amen.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorai, Tehorai.
And please remain standing as we continue with Baruch She'amar, page 7.
Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch hu, Baruch oseh Bereishit, Baruch omer ve'oseh, Baruch ozer u'mekayem, Baruch merachem al ha'aretz, Baruch merachem al ha'beriot, Baruch meshalem sachar tov lireav, Baruch Kailan lekayam laletzach, Baruch podeh u'matziel, Baruch shemo lai lai la la lai la 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 lai la lai 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 la la lai la la lai la la lai lai la la lai la la lai la la lai la 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 lai la la lai la la lai la la lai lai la la lai la la lai la 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 lai la la lai la la lai la 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 lai 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 la 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 lai la la lai la 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 lai la lai la lai la la lai lai la lai lai.
And you may be seated. You may be seated. We're going to continue on page 8, but before that, I want to read a message here I got from Marcela Munita. She comes from Chile, so she knows Professor Rosa, the one that I was mentioning before. She said, yeah, he's a super cool teacher that motivates kids to discover our earth. So it's very interesting. Still, he was arguing with me about the Bible. So not so cool for me. Nah, just kidding. It was very funny. It was very funny to see this guy without makeup or anything on an informal setting. And we had a good laugh.
Rabbi Mas,
about
we
things.
have an addition from our ritual team. Rena is here, if you haven't noticed her come in.
Boker
right there.
Orina.
Hello,
Shabbat
good morning.
shalom,
Boker
Hi.
Tov.
How are you
Nice to
doing?
see you guys. I'm good.
So
Awesome, actually. Like, it's very emotional just seeing everybody here in person. And I hope it stays this way.
We too.
yeah, of course. Yeah. That's
We're
what-
going to enjoy every moment. We are.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So let's continue now on page 8, Psalm 148. Hallelujah, et Adonai min hashamayim.
Hallelujah, et Adonai min hashamayim. Hallelujah, bamromim. Hallelujah, kol melachav. Hallelujah, kol בשמיים. הללויה, הללויה, הללויה. הללו כל מלאכיו, הללו כל צבאיו. הללויה, הללויה.
Please rise for the Mourner's Kaddish, page 46.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
Amen.
בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו
Amen.
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו.
Brichu.
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו
אמן.
אמן.
Amen.
יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Amen.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו
Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. You may be seated. We are going to continue now on page 10. I'm very impressed, actually, to see so many of you here. We are all wearing the mask, all taking your distance. Especially, it's funny, we have two restrictions, basically, right? In the Torah, we are reading today about one restriction, that they couldn't keep it. Oh, and if you go out to Bereishit, Adam and Eve, they have one restriction: don't eat from that fruit. You can do anything else you want. What did they do? They ate from the fruit. And here, so thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for following the protocols. It's great. It's great. It's great. Makes us very hopeful for the future. And remember, to all of you, if you ever want to come in person to our service, you have to register in advance. You have to call the office, and we are going to let you know when it's going to be the next opportunity, because now we go into a streak of Bnei Bnot Mitzvah, and the capacity is full. But just call the office, who will let you know whenever is the next chance for you to come to synagogue. Feels like a rock concert. Get your ticket.
The tickets are very simple. You don't have to pay because we would love to see you here. All you have
Yeah.
to do is make a phone call or click the link on our website. What is the link for Shabbat morning? Do you know?
Ticketek.ca. No, it's it's so you have to visit www.edzwinnipeg.ca/attend, right?
That sounds right.
yeah.
Yep.
Attend. Yeah. And then you have all the information there. You
going
have all
to,
the information there. You clearly know it. You have all the information there.
We're on page number 10.
Shochinat Marom.
שוכנת מרום וקדוש שמו בפי ישרים תתהלל ובדברי צדיקים תתברך ובלשון חסידים תתרומם ובקרב קדושים תתקדש.
Oh, sorry.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתהלל ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודש הבריחו לילה מן כה ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן בעלמא והימרו 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 אמן.
If by any reason you were standing, please remain standing. For everybody else, please rise for the Barhu. Barhu, page 12.
As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. And our blessings give us strength and make our visions clear, and our blessings give us peace and the courage to dare. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorei choshech oteh shalom uvorei et hakol.
You may be seated as we prepare ourselves for the Shema Israel, the declaration of Jewish faith. In fact, I'm going to be bold enough to say that everything that we did up to this point was a spiritual preparation for this next line. Everything that we did from page number 4 all the way to here was to prepare ourselves to say the Shema Israel. It's not a song. It's not a pretty melody. It's the mission statement of Judaism. And it is something that we not only have to say it, we have to believe it, and we have to feel it. We have to feel that Adonai is our God, and we have to feel that Adonai is one. How do we do that? We cover our eyes. So we detach ourselves from the material world for a little bit. So perhaps without the distraction of the material world, we can discover our connection with the one God. Shema Israel, page 12. We cover our eyes.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. And you will teach them diligently unto your children, and you will speak of them when you're sitting in your house, when you are walking by the wind, when you're lying down, and when you're rising up, when you're rising up. And you will bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they will be for frontlets between your eyes, and you will write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
Please continue silently with the recitation of the Shema Israel, Hebrew or English.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Continue on page 17 with Mija Moja.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. שירה חדשה, שיבחו גאוני נשימך, על שפת הים יחד כולם, הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ופנינו ממך יהודה וישראל, פועלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך הבא אלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, גא ישראל.
And please remain standing for the Amidah for Shabbat. This Shabbat, Bereishit, the Shabbat of the beginning. It's a new, I feel, it's a new beginning for Shaarey Zedek. I hope it's a new beginning for you too. There is no such a thing of reaching the goal. You know that, right? Even in the Torah, we learned that. We reach to the very end of Deuteronomy, and next we know we are back at the beginning. So actually, reaching a goal is starting a new process. So every day is a new beginning. So we have to take it like that. Every day is a gift from God for us to start anew. And every day we have an opportunity to connect with God and to strengthen our relationship with God. That's exactly what we are going to do with the Amidah, page 18. We are going to sing together the first three blessings, and after the Ledor Vador, we are going to continue silent prayer. For the silent part, please feel free to use the English, the Hebrew, or your own words of prayer. Now, let's sing together, page 18.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיים מתים אתה, רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחכה חיים בחסד, בחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו, בשמי מרום, ככתוב ביד נביאך, וכרז זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, ואלוהי הארץ כבודו. אז בקורש גדול אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול, מתנסים לעומת הרבים, לעומתם ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. ממקומך מלכנו תופיע, ותמלוך עלינו כמחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך בציון בקרוב בימינו, לעולם ועד תשכון. תתקרב ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך, לדור ודור לנצח נצחים. ועינינו תראינה מלכותך, כדבר האמור בשירי עוזך, על ידי דוד משיח צדקך. ימלוך אדוני אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד God לך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד God לך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי המלך גדול, כי המלך גדול, וקדוש אתה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד God לך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך הוא, ברוך שמו.
האל, האל, הקדוש.
Amen. Please continue silently, Hebrew, English, or your own words of prayer. And once you finish your prayer, please be seated.
Ose shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
Yasher Koyach, Leslie.
Baruch Tia, Yasher Koach, Rabbi Anibal.
It's wow, what a wonderful start for the service. Really,
feel-
really amazing.
It's just so nice to see everybody here. It is surreal and beautiful and hopeful. Thank you all so much for joining us in person this morning and sticking through the pandemic with us online. It is truly a gift for us. And I hope we've been able to lift you along the way.
Yeah, I hope so too. But we still have more to come.
Oh, plenty more to come, absolutely.
This is just the beginning. We're about to move into the Torah service. And I hope you read along. All these parshiot in the book of Genesis, Exodus, they have so much content and so many teachings. Yeah, then we go into Leviticus, it gets more complicated. But at least for the beginning, it's great. It's great if you can follow along and absorb every teaching along the way. And we also, we want to be sure that we are still reading the messages. So please keep sending them. Even if sometimes we don't have time to acknowledge everybody by name, but we love to see that you are connected there on the other side of the screen. And I hope, as I always say, I hope you are being a participator and not just a spectator. Yeah. Okay, let's continue now with the Kaddish Shalom, page 32.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
ועמד יברח ירתה והמליך מלכותה בחי יכול מיומך נבחר לכל בית ישראל בגלה בזמן קריב והימרו.
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לעלמי עלמיה.
Yitbarach.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרום וינשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי לקודשה.
בריחו.
לעילם מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם ועלמה והימרו.
Amen.
תתקבל תלתיון ובאותיון דק כל ישראל קדם אבו וישמע והימרו.
Amen.
יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל והימרו.
Amen.
עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל והימרו. Amen.
Please rise for the Torah service. Vayevin Suaron, page 33. One second here.
ויהי בנצוע אהרון ויאמר משה קומה אשנאך מפניך, כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני בירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה, תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה, תורה, לעמו ישראל, היא קדושתו. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש שמו.
Chad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
גדלו לאדוני איתי, ורוממה שמו יחדיו. לך אדוני הגדולה והגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד. כי כה בשמיים ובארץ, כי כה בשמיים ובארץ. לך אדוני הממלכה והמתנשא לכל לראש. רוממו,
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 אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו, והשתחוו, לאדום רגליו קדוש הוא. רוממו,
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 אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו, והשתחוו, להר קודשו, כי קדוש, כי קדוש, אדוני אלוהינו.
You can be seated.
And we are ready to begin with the Torah reading. You see, this is why we need a screen in the front of the sanctuary, so you can see me right now. Otherwise, you could look, yeah, you can look at me. You have to twist your neck, and then you're going to go home with a sore neck. We don't want that. So you can try to imagine me coming from a screen on top of the ark or something like that, maybe in the corner. We're still trying to figure out where to put the screen. But we're about to begin with the Torah service. And by the way, I'm here because we have sometimes Zoom Aliot, and I have to do the tech to bring the people into the services. And again, we're in the book of Genesis. This is the first reading of the year. And because here at Shaarey Zedek we follow the triennial cycle of reading, we are moving into the third of the Parsha. So we are going to miss all the creation of the world, and the temptation of Adam and Eve, and the expulsion from the Garden of Eden. We are missing that part, and we are going to go straight to the end when we are already talking about the genealogy of Adam. And so you can follow along, and we are going to read about the children and the next generation and what's happened there. And this is a prelude for the story of Noah that is going to eventually coming next week, which is also a great one. But for now, I would like to invite everyone, if you have a Chumash, open the Chumash, the Etz Chaim Chumash we're using today, on page 30. We're going to be reading for the first Aliyah, chapter 5, verses 1 to 5. Our Torah reader for the first portion is going to be Tali Milo. And the first Aliyah is a virtual one today, but not on Zoom. It's a Aliyah, we call it Aliyah by proxy. And we are actually, unfortunately, we are ending this. We are just honoring the one that they were booked in advance. But from now on, because we are allowing people to come into the building, the new format is going to be either in person or by Zoom with with physical connection to the computer. So 2 options coming in the future. So you're always invited to come here. If you have a reason to have an Aliyah, please let us know. You will have priority to come to the synagogue in future services. But now, let's begin with the first reading. Our virtual honoree is Larry Fleischer. He's observing his mother's yortzeit and sprecher. Leslie, please.
ויעזור ויגן ויושיע לכל החוסים בו ונאמר אמן.
Amen.
הכל אבו גודל עלינו כבוד לתורה יעמוד אריה דוב בן יוסף הכהן וסוניה ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו ואתם מדבקים באדוני אלוהיכם חיים כולכם היום. Are you ready, Larry? Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai mevorach leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Zeh Sefer Toledot Adam Bayom Bero Elohim Adam Bidmut Elohim Asato Zachar Nekeva Beram V'yevarech Adam V'yikra et Shemam Adam Beyom Hibaram V'yechi Adam Sheloshim U'me'at Shana V'yoled Bidmuto Ketzalmo V'yikra et Shemam Shet V'yiyu Yemei Adam Acharei Holido et Shet Shemone Mehot Shana V'yoled Banim U'banot V'yiyu Kol Yemei Adam Asher Chai Tisha Mehot Shana U'Sheloshim Shana V'yamot. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Larry, may the soul of your mother have an aliyah in the Olam Haba, in the world to come. Amen. And thank you so much for participating in this Shabbat service with all of us. Shabbat Shalom to you. We are going to continue now with the second reading. By the way, Yishar Kochech Tali, beautiful reading. Tali is going to stay with us on the beam a little longer because she's also reading the second portion for this morning of Bereishit. I don't know if you've been paying attention of all these the genealogies of Adam. People used to live many, many years back in the day. 700 years, 800 years, 900 years. I'm wondering how they did it. No Netflix, no iPhones. Wow. I guess we should take a time machine to go ask them, what's the secret? But I believe now that we are getting out of the festival of Sukkot, where we learn, hopefully we learned to rediscover simplicity in life, will give us a clue on how to live long and meaningful lives just by strengthening our relationships. But not only with God, but also with other people that are important to us. And back in the day, I would guess they will have many centuries to develop and to treasure such relationships. Let's continue now with the second reading. It's going to be taken from Genesis chapter 5, verses 6 to 8. It's page 31 of the Etz Chaim Chumash. We have another proxy Aliyah. And this is for Beverly Satzer. She is celebrating her birthday with us this Shabbat. Leslie, please.
Beverly, happy birthday. And it's so nice to know you're here and celebrating with us this morning. Let me call you up in a special way. Tamod, 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 Bracha bat Gershon v'Leah, L'Aliyah Hasheni, and many more. Are you ready, Beverly? Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Borach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Amvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vayichishet chamesh shanim u'me'at shana vayoledet enosh. Vayichishet acharei holidot enosh sheva shanim u'shmona me'at shana vayolet banim u'banot vayiyu kol yemei shet Shetei Asara Shana Utsha Mehot Shana Vayamot.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Beverly, you can see that I switched spots. I'm not at the back anymore. Why? You will see in a minute. Actually, you will hear in a minute. But first, we have a special blessing for you. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב, שרה רבקה רחל ולאה, הוא יברך את ברכה בת גרשום ולאה, שעלתה יום לכבוד המקום ולכבוד התורה ולכבוד השבת, ולהודות על כל החסדים אשר גמל לה אלוהים מיום היוולדה עד היום הזה. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור אותה ואת כל משפחתה, ישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיה, עם כל ישראל אחיה ונאמר אמן. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless Beverly Satzer, who has come from Aliyah with reverence for God and respect for the Torah and this Shabbat. Grateful to God for the gift of life, which she has enjoyed until this day. May the Kadosh Baruch Hu continue to bless her with length of years, good health, the pleasures of Torah study, and the profound satisfaction that comes from a life of Maasim Tovim, good deeds. In celebrating this and other birthdays, may her example remind us that people may count the days of their life, but a person of wisdom makes every day count. Let us all say, Amen.
Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yehelanu. Simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yehelanu, yehelanu, yehelanu. Lechol Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Lechol Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Lechol Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Lechol Yisrael. Mazel Tov, Beverly. May we be able to celebrate many, many simchas
in community. Hopefully next time in person. But we send you all the best and lots of blessings your way. Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for celebrating with us this morning.
Happy birthday, Beverly.
Many happy returns.
We're going to do a bit of a Bima shuffle here with who's where and what we're doing. So just a quick moment while we get set up.
Our next Aliyah is going to be in person. So, we have that setting at the corner towards the emergency exit. So if you have one of the in-person Aliyah, like the first one is Shelly Chochinov. So this is your clue to start getting closer. Shelly? We wait, don't worry. We can go to commercials. We go to commercials meanwhile.
Shabbat not built for speed.
Yeah. Shabbat is the day of rest.
Exactly.
Now, and Leslie is going to continue reading the Torah all the way to the end. Are you ready, Leslie?
I hope so.
Okay, so Yesher Kochech to Tali for her beautiful reading. Now we are going to continue with the third reading, Genesis chapter 5, verses 9 to 14, or page 31 on the Etz Chaim Chumash. And Shelly Chochinov is honored with the third Aliyah. She is observing the yortzeit of her beloved husband, Moshe Aaron Chochinov, Zichrono Livracha, of blessed memory. Leslie, please.
Tamod iterei zabat Binyamin unachama l'aliyah hashlishi.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai borach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher baruch banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayechi Enosh 90 shana, vayolad et Kenan. Vayechi Enosh acharei holido et Kenan. 15 shana u'shmona me'ot shana, vayolad banim u'banot. Vayihu kol yamei Enosh 5 shanim u900 shana vayamot. Vayechi Kenan 70 shana, vayolad et Mahalalel. Vayechi Kenan acharei holidot Mahalalel 40 shana u'shmona shana, vayolad banim u'banot. Vayihu kol yamei Kenan 10 shanim u900 shana vayamot.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Shelly, may the soul of Moish have an Aliyah in the Olam Haba, and it's extra meaningful that we are reading this Shabbat from the Torah that you dedicated to his memory. So I hope that brings sweet memories to you. Thank you for being here in person. Great to see you. And I noticed that your mask matches your kippah. It didn't go unnoticed. Next, we have another in-person Aliyah. We are honored to call up Hanon Bell. He's celebrating his birthday with us this Shabbat. We are going to be reading from Genesis chapter 5, verses 15 to 20, still on page 31. And Leslie Emery is going to keep reading, but now she's going to call up Hanon in a special way.
Yamod, 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 Elchanan ben Aryeh Lev Shoshana, Lalia Harivi, and many more.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarah.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim. Benatan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayechi Malalel, Chamesh Shanim V'Shishim Shana, Vayoledet Yared. Vayechi Malalel, Acharei Holido et Yared. Shoshim Shana U'Shmona Meot Shana, Vayoled Vanim Uvanot. Vayihiu Kol Yemei Malalel, 590 שנה ו800 שנה וימות. ויחי ירד 62 שנה ו100 שנה, ויולד את חנוך. ויחי ירד אחרי הולידו את חנוך 800 שנה, ויולד בנים ובנות. ויהיו כל ימי ירד 62 שנה ו900 שנה וימות.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet b'chayei olam nata b'tachenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Well, Hanan, so good to see you here. I know we saw each other before, and but it was at the cemetery, so it wasn't the happiest occasion. So we wish each other, may we see each other again in a happiest and a joyous occasion. And here it is, Shabbat, synagogue celebrating your birthday. You can't, I mean, it's an amazing blessing that you could do this to celebrate your birthday in person with your congregation. So we have a special blessing for you. מי שבירך אבותינו, אברהם יצחק ויעקב, שרה רבקה רחל ולאה, הוא יברך את אלחנן בן אריה לייב ושושנה, שעלה יום לכבוד המקום ולכבוד התורה ולכבוד השבת, ולהודות על כל החסדים אשר גמל לו אלוהים מיום היוולדו עד היום הזה. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור אותו, את כל משפחתו, וישלח ברכה והצלחה וכל מעשי ידיו, עם כל ישראל אחיו ונאמר אמן.
Amen.
May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless Hanan Bell, who has come from Aliyah with reverence for God and respect for the Torah and this Shabbat, grateful to God for the gift of life which he has enjoyed until this day. May the Kadosh Baruch Hu continue to bless him with length of years, with health, the pleasures of Torah study, and the profound satisfaction that comes from a life of Maasim Tovim, good deeds. In celebrating this and other birthdays, may his example remind us that people may count the days of their lives, but a person of wisdom make every day count. Let us all say,
Amen. Simen tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov simen tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov simen tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov simen tov yehelanu. Simen tov u'mazel tov simen tov mazel tov simen tov mazel tov simen tov yehelanu. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Olechol Israel. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Olechol Israel. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Olechol Israel. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Olechol Israel. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Mazel
I
tov.
just want to say it's absolutely wonderful to be back in the synagogue. I've watched it online for over a year now, every Saturday morning, and to be here with all of you and to feel just everything is incredible.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Hannon. And thank you for being here every Saturday with us. We know you're there. You always say hello and Shabbat Shalom, and it's even better seeing you in person. I like Beverly's answer online. Beverly's at home. She said, "Happy birthday, Hannon. Happy to see you in person." And one day, maybe Beverly and Hannon will be in the room at the same time. But for now, we are sending ourselves out into the world. We are together on Shabbat morning, and it is a beautiful thing.
So let's continue now with the Hamishi Aliyah. Again, Genesis chapter 5, verses 21 to 24, page 31. And this is very interesting because so far, what we've been reading is a boring list of names. But now for the next part of this list of names, there is something very interesting. And that is the language changes a little bit. And it's talking about, hold on a minute, where is it? Here, on the Hamishi, on verse 22, it's talking about Hanoch. It's one of the characters of the Bible. But for the first time, it's saying that Hanoch walked with God. It's the same language that is going to be used later on with Noah. But it's to let us know that, because this is, again, I mentioned, it's a prelude to the flood. So we always imagine that after Adam and Eve, everything was a disaster. And it started to, the humanity started to go lower and lower. But, you know, we see here that not everything was terrible. There were people actually like Hanoch that they knew God and they somehow developed a relationship with God. And it's a beautiful, beautiful example and how sometimes we can find God and establish a relationship with God wherever we are. And we don't have to wait until everything is perfect around us to engage into that process. Now, for the next Aliyah, for the Hamishi, we have a Zoom honoree, and it's not other than Rabbi David Cantor, which I'm going to bring him into the Zoom. Good morning. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
Shabbat Shalom. Good morning.
Well, we can hear you. Very happy to have you here. It's great. We usually have your parents, Shabbat after Shabbat, but now it's a great honor to have you. So we invite you, and we are going to call you up the traditional way. Leslie, please.
Yamod harav Dav Eliyahu ben Eliakim Pesach v'Gitul Shein l'Aliyah HaChamishi.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevarach.
Baruch Adonai Mevarach Leolam Vahed.
Baruch Adonai Mevarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayechi Chanoch 65 שנה, ויולד מתושלח. ויתהלך חנוך את האלוהים, אחרי הולידות מתושלח 300 שנה, ויולד בנים ובנות. ויהי כל ימי חנוך 65 שנה, ו300 שנה. ויתהלך חנוך את האלוהים, בעינינו, כי לקח אותו אלוהים.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koyach, Rabbi. It's a great honor to have you as part of our virtual congregation. And hopefully, pretty soon we can see you in person. It's a very friendly congregation.
It's a very friendly congregation. I'm only visiting for a week, though.
Okay, good to see you. Shabbat Shalom to you and all the best.
Shabbat Shalom.
So, let's continue with the next Aliyah, which is another birthday Aliyah. We invite Yehuda Cherny to start taking the the journey, the trip, how do you say it, all the way to the Aliyah station. And Yehuda is celebrating his birthday with us. And Leslie is going to be reading from the Torah.
77. Wow. Happy birthday. Yom Huledet Sameach.
And today is my birthday.
Really? It's the real
very
day.
good.
Wow.
Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Let me announce the page. We're going to be page 32, Genesis 5, verses 25 to 31. Leslie's reading the Torah, and she is also going to call you up, Yehuda, the proper way.
Yamod, 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 Yehuda ben Avraham Berisa, Aliyah HaShishi, and many more.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vaed.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Amen. ויחי מתושלח 87 שנה ומעט שנה, ויולד את למך. ויחי מתושלח אחרי הולידו את למך 82 שנה ו700 שנה, ויולד בנים ובנות. ויהיו כל ימי מתושלח 69 שנה ו900 שנה, וימות. ויחי למך 82 שנה ומעט שנה, ויולד בן. ויקרא את שמו נוח לאמור, זה ינחמנו ממעשינו ומצפון ידינו מן האדמה אשר הרע אדוני. ויחי למך אחרי הולידו את נוח 590 שנה ו500 שנה, ויולד בנים ובנות. ויהי כל ימי למך 77 שנה ו700 שנה, וימות.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay, Yehuda, we have a special blessing for you. מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך את יהודה בן אברהם וריסיה, שעלה היום לכבוד המקום ולכבוד התורה ולכבוד השבת, ולהודות על כל החסדים אשר גמל לו אלוהים ביום היוולדו עד היום הזה. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור אותו ואת כל משפחתו, וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשי ידיו מכל ישראל אחיו, ונאמר אמן.
Amen.
May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless Yehuda Cherny, who has come from Aliyah with reverence for God and respect for the Torah and the Shabbat. Grateful to God for the gift of life which he has enjoyed until this day. May the Kadosh Baruch Hu continue to bless him with length of years, good health, the pleasures of Torah study, and the profound satisfaction that comes from a life of Maasim Tovim, good deeds. In celebrating this another birthday, may Yehuda's example remind us that people may count the days of their life, but a person of wisdom make every day count. And let us all say,
Amen. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, yehelanu. Siman tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, siman tov, yehelanu, yehelanu, yehelanu. Israel, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Israel, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael, Yehi lanu, Ulecho Yisrael. Mazel Tov. Yehuda is someone who makes every day count. Absolutely. Happy birthday. Yom Huledet Sameach.
Happy birthday.
And a
Yashikoyach.
dance solo too this morning. I've missed you, Yehuda. It's good to have you back here.
Yeah, we have somebody dancing at the Jets game, the Gold Eyes, and we have one here at Shaarey Zedek as well. That mic on? I don't think your mic is on.
There you go. After all that, but Yehuda doesn't miss a step. Welcome back, Yehuda. Happy birthday. And may we celebrate many more right here at Shaarey Zedek in the sanctuary together.
Amen. And we have one more in-person Aliyah this morning. We invite Jerome Fomin to start his journey towards the corner of the sanctuary. And
Jerome, it is so good to have you here this morning. Shabbat
so
Shalom.
he's the last reader, which means that he becomes automatically the maftir, which means that he's going to also read the Haftarah in a few minutes. But first, we are going to call Jerome up for the Shevi'i/Maftir Aliyah, Genesis chapter 5, verse 32, and it's going all the way to chapter 6, verse 8, that is on page 33 of the Etz Chaim Chumash. Listen, please.
Yamon, Zedek ben Ephraim v'Golda, Maftir.
Baruchu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vahed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vahed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayehi Noach ben 500 shana, vayoled Noach et Shem et Cham et Yafet. Vayehi kechel Adam, la'rov al pnei ha'adama, uvanot yuldu lahem, vayiru bnei Elohim et benot Adam, ki tovot hena, vayikhu lahem nashim mikol asher bacharu, vayomer Adonai, lo yadon ruchi b'adam leolam b'shagam hu basar, vayihu yamav 120 shana, Hanefilim hayu ba'aretz bayamim hahem, v'gam achareichen asher yavohu b'nei Elohim el benot Adam, vayaldu lahem hem hagiborim asher me'olam anshe Hashem. Vayahar Adonai ki rabah ra'ot Adam ba'aretz, Kol yetzer machshavot libo rak kol hayom. Vayinachem Adonai ki asa et Adam ba'aretz vayitatzev libo. Vayomer Adonai emcha et Adam asher barati me'al pnei adama, me'adam ad behema ad remes v'adof hashamayim, ki nichamti Ki asitem v'Noach matzachen me'nei Adonai.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yasher Koach, Jerome. Thank you so much for celebrating this Shabbat with us. And Yasher Kochech, Leslie.
Baruch Tieh.
Wonderful readings.
Thank you.
And I don't know if you pay attention to this last one. It's a big mess. It's a big mess. Now it's talking about this Bnei Elohim. We don't know who they were. Who they said that they saw the women here on earth So it's very interesting. I said, and they just took them as wives. So it implies that it was without their consent. So it wasn't nice what they did. And God kind of get angry at them and then said, okay, maybe the problem is people are living for too long. And now, all of a sudden, all these people, they were living 700, 800, 900 years, not anymore. God is saying, from now on, the age of humanity, of human beings, is going to be around 100 years old, which is what continues all the way to these days. But then if we continue reading, you will see that now it wasn't just one isolated problem with these people, that they were taking women without their consent, but there were other bigger problems on earth. And then we all know what is going to happen, because next week we're going to read about the flood, because this continued to escalate. But we finish with a high note that despite everything, Noach matzachen be'einei Adonai. That Noah, he was perceived favorably by God despite everything around him. So if you want to know more about the story of Noah, you have to tune in next week. Let's continue now. We have to lift, roll, and tie this scroll of Torah. So please rise.
So let me explain something. We talked about a new beginning. We have a couple of Torahs that are extremely large and extremely heavy, and we rarely get a chance to use them, and they need to be rolled at least once a year to make sure that they air out and that the letters don't stick to the backing of it. So today, we have one of those Torahs that we read from Bereishit. If you saw it on the screen, you saw how bright it was and how big it was. And so I'm not going to lift it, because I don't think anybody here would want to lift this Torah. I don't want anybody having a hernia operation 6 months from now. You're 77 years old. I don't want you to have a hernia operation. No, you stay seated. He's challenging me. But I'll lift it. But we also are going to celebrate the beginning of a new month. For that, I will take out another Torah in honor of Shelley, who's here. This is a Torah that she dedicated to the memory of her husband. So I will hold that one for that particular prayer. This Torah was scribed in and around 1920. It was told to us by a scribe who checked the Torah. We checked them once every 10 years or so. In 1920, in Russia. And when this particular scribe saw the Torah, he got very excited, because the scribes that did this, this sort of group, none of them are around anymore. So he was really excited about the style and the size and the paragraphs and so on. So it's really quite amazing. So let me lift it for you while we do Hadma.
Vezot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe ki mitzion tetzeh Torah udvar Adonai miYerushalayim ki mitzion tetzeh Torah Udvar Adonai miYerushalayim Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato.
You may be seated as we continue with the Haftarah. We invite Jerome to come back. Page 36 of the Etz Chaim Chumash. It's going to be taken from the book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verses 5 to 21.
Welcome to the Bima, Jerome. And thank you so much for coming in to chant the Haftorah for us all this morning.
Yeah, it's better there. You can even see the messages coming your way. Probably cheering you up. Jerome,
If I could see that
Jerome.
part.
Yeah, here Terry called you Zelig.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza b'divreihem הנאמרים ve'amet. Baruch atah Adonai Habocher baTorah u'Moshe avdo v'Yisrael amoho v'nviei ha'emet v'tzedek.
Amen.
כה אמר האל אדוני בורא השמיים ונותיהם רוקה הארץ וצאצאיה נותן נשמה לעם עליה ורוח להולכים בה. אני אדוני קראתיך וצדק וחזק בידיך וצרך ותנך לבריתם לאור גויים לפקוח עיניים עיוורות להוציא מסגר אסיר מבית כלא יושבי חושך. אני אדוני ושמי וכבודי לאחר לא אתן תהילתי לפסילים. הראשונות הנה באו וחדשות אני מגיד בטרם תצמחנה אשמיע אתכם. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש תהילתו מקצה הארץ יורדי העם ומלואו איים ויושביהם ייסעו מדבר וערב חצרים תשב כדר ירונו יושבי סלע מראש הרים יצבחו ישימו לאדוני כבוד ותהילתו באים יגידו אדוני כי גיבור יצא וכי איש מלחמה יאיר קנאה יריע אף יצריח על אויביו יתגבר. החשיתי מעולם אחריש את הפח כל יולדה אפעה אשום אפשרף אחד אחריב הרים וגבעות וכל אסבם אוביש ושמתי נהרות לערים וגבים אוביש והולכתי עברים בדרך לא ידעו וטבעות לא ידעו אדריכם אשים מחשך לפניהם לאור ומקשים למישור אלה הדברים עשיתים ולא עזבתים. נסוגו אחור יבשו בושת הבוטחים בפסל האומרים מסכה אתם אלוהינו החרשים שמעו ועברים הביטו לראות מי עיוור כי אם עבדי וחרש כמלאכי אשאלה מעיוור כמשולם ועיוור כעבד אדוני. רעות רבות ולא תשמור בכוח אזניים ולא ישמע. אדוני חפץ למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר. ברוך אתה אדוני Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol ha'olamim, tzadik bechol hadorot, ha'el hane'eman, ha'omer v'yoseh, ha'medaber u'mkayem, shekol dvarav emet v'tzedek. נאמן אתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ונאמנים דבריך, ודבר אחד מדבריך, אך אור לא ישוב ריקם, כי אל מלך נאמן ורחמן אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו.
האל הנאמן בכל דבריו.
אמן.
רחם על ציון כי בית חיינו, ולעלובת נפש תושיע במהרה בימינו. ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו.
משמח ציון בבניה.
אמן.
שמחנו אדוני אלוהינו באליהו הנביא עבדך, ומלכות בית דוד משיחך, במהרה יבוא ויגל ליבנו, על כיסו לא ישב זר, ולא ינחלו עוד אחרים את כבודו, כי בשם קודשך נשבעת לו, שלא יכבה נרו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו.
מגן דוד.
אמן.
על התורה ועל עבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו לקדושה ולמנוחה לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודיעים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו.
לקדש השבת.
Amen. Yasher Koach,
Yasher
Jerome.
Koach.
Baruch Thea, and thank you very much for the honor of getting the first one of the year.
Thank you so much for always being willing to come and help out when we need, Jerome.
Very
My
nice.
pleasure.
We're
Anytime.
lucky to have you here.
And you have very nice comments on the chat. Interestingly, some of the people giving you some Yasher Koyaks here are sitting in the sanctuary. Just say it out loud.
I love it.
Yeah. Yasher Koyak, Jerome. I won't type it. I would just say it in person.
It is, though. It's a new way of doing shul, and we're figuring it out as we go along. But it's amazing how far we've gotten so far. And this is such a beautiful moment for us all to be back together again in the sanctuary and everybody at home as well.
Absolutely.
We're going to continue with a prayer for healing, a Mishe Berach prayer. If you do know someone in need of healing, you can send in their name through our chat at this time, or also we'll go around the sanctuary as well if anyone would like to add a name. I'm going to begin with our list over here. Isabella bat Sarah, Yitzchak Dov ben Bela, Moshe Aharon ben Leah, Miriam Rachel bat Leah, Basha Pesha bat Zisla, Hani Kane, April bat Pamela, Chazan Shefer ben Miriam, Harav Avraham Yehoshua Heschel ben Ruth, Gabriel ben Etel Gita, Shmuel ben Zina, Shane Johnson, Malka Feiga bat Shandel, Howard Kizel, Cheryl May, Moishe ben Golda, Rochelle bat Sonia, Alfie Glass, Beryl ben Devora, Esther Bela bat Sarah, Georgina Tassara, Meyer Leib ben Nurit, Tzipora bat Rachel, Leah bat Adele, Colin Rich, Maureen Rich, Chaim Osher ben Chaimalka, Adrian McDonald, Meyer David ben Machlea, Jan bat Jean, Michelle Saip, Chaya Zahava bat Leah, Eliyahu Lev ben Rivka, Chaim Arka bat Tzipora Menorah, Chaya ben Golda, Eliakim Pesach ben Esther Pesi, Kedma bat Sarah, Sharon bat Golda, Carmel bat Iris, Rabbi Essa Oppenheimer, Ora El bat Shulamit, Betty Milos. Does anyone have a name that they would like to add? You can go across the room. Of course. Amen. Amen. Chai Rivka Bat Ruth, Melvin Ben Hadassah, Neil Roy. Let's join together in Debbie Friedman's Misha Berach prayer. Misha Berach Avotenu Nekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Nekor HaBracha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Amen. So we have a few announcements.
We do, and I'm smiling. I see Alice is here and ready. But on our way to Mevarchim HaKodesh,
It wouldn't be Shaarey Zedek without announcement. Come on, let's say it out loud.
we have to do the announcements. We
Yes.
do. Absolutely. And we have some good ones, actually. First of all, we have, I don't know if you've noticed when you walked in the building today, our Tikkun Olam and social action efforts have expanded. So if you take a look in our lobby, you can drop off non-perishable food items, coats, and other clothing for adults and children here at the shul, and we'll get them to where they're needed the most. We are in partnership with Winnipeg Harvest, JCFS, Coats for Kids, One Just City, and B'nai B'rith Canada. If you're curious about which specific items are needed, you can visit esedwinnipeg.ca/give. This is brought to you by our Tikkun Olam Committee. Torah L'Chaim, still online weekly with our Rabbi Anibal Mass, but as this world evolves, stay tuned. There are hopefully more announcements coming as time goes on. For now, you can find Rabbi Anibal online, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and the SZ website. Every week, Thursdays at noon, CDT. No registration required, just stop on by to study. And we have page 2, Sisterhood Book Club. My grandma was actually interested. I got her this book yesterday. The September book is A Backpack, a Bear, and 8 Crates of Vodka, a memoir by Lev Golinkin. This is led by Rhonda Ewell through our sisterhood and began on October the 4th. It will begin at 2 p.m. on Zoom. This is a compelling story of 2 intertwined journeys, a Jewish refugee family fleeing persecution and a young man seeking to reclaim his shattered past. If you're curious about the book, you can check it out. And if you'd like to join in for the session in the book club, you can find the information at esedwinnipeg.ca/sisterhood or email sisterhood@esedwinnipeg.ca. Please register by October the 1st, and you must be a sisterhood member to attend.
Wow. I'm not interested anymore. You just told me what it's about.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot more to it. I'm going to read this one. I am. It's on my book list. Daily services. We're here every day, twice a day. That's what we do. It's the heartbeat of the shul, the Minyan.
Absolutely.
You can find us here at 6 p.m. this evening, Sundays, 9 a.m. and 6 p.m., and all week long, 7:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. until Friday, 7:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. And then we're back on Shabbat morning here at 10. The Shaarey Zedek gift shop is back in action. You can get some information on how to make an appointment by calling 204-975-3487 or contact our office and we'll put you in touch. We are still in need of volunteer pallbearers to assist families in emergency situations. If you are able to help out or you know someone who can, please get in touch with Estelle Raber in our office and we'll make sure that people get where they need to go. And now
we have a very special prayer. We have it every month except during Elul. Very good. We don't announce Tishrei, which is the month of Rosh Hashanah, That's a very interesting question. Why the rabbis decided not to have the Mevarchim HaChodesh during the month of Elul? You have to wait until the next Elul, and then ask again. But now, we do mention that we are about to first announce and bless the next Hebrew month, which is the month of Cheshvan. But you will notice that in the liturgy, we call it Mar Cheshvan. In Hebrew, we call it Cheshvan. That's like an everyday life. But in the liturgy, we call it Mar Cheshvan. Mar means bitter. So it's a bitter Cheshvan. Why? Because we don't have any festivals, any holidays on Cheshvan. The only month that it has nothing. Nothing at all. Then we'll have Hanukkah, then we'll have Purim, then we'll have Pesach. Every month has something, but Cheshvan has nothing. No sympathy for Cheshvan, actually. It's such a blessing. I don't know why we call it bitter.
We've just had a month of holidays.
Yes. So, but we are about to announce that it's going to begin Beyom HaRevi'i Uveyom Chamishi. So Alice Wiseman is here in person to sing for us the Mevarchim HaChodesh on page 40. Please rise.
Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu shetechadesh aleinu et hachodesh haba l'tova v'titen lanu chayim aruchim chayim shel shalom chayim shel tova chayim shel baracha chayim shel parnasah Chaim shel chilutz atzamot Chaim shesh bahem yirat shamayim vayirat chet Chaim shein bahem busha uchlima Chaim shel osher v'chavod Chaim shetevanu ahavat Torah vayirat shamayim Chaim sheimalu mishalot libenu letova amen selah Misheyasani simlavotenu vegalotam me'avdut lecherut hu igalotanu bekarov vikabetz nidachenu merbakan potaretz chaverim kol Yisrael V'nomar, v'nomar, Amen.
Amen.
Rosh Chodesh, Mar Cheshvan, Yeh b'yom Revi'i, u'b'yom Chamishi, haba aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, letova.
Rosh Chodesh Mar Cheshvan yeh beyom Revi'i ubeyom HaChamishi Avaleinu Al Kol Yisrael Letova. The month of Mar Cheshvan will begin on Wednesday and Thursday.
Yechadeshehu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Aleinu ve'al kol amo Beit Yisrael L'chaim u'shalom
Amen.
L'sason u'simcha
Amen.
וישועה ונחמה ונאמר Amen.
In the new month, may the Holy One, praise be God, bless us and the household of Israel with life and peace, joy and gladness, deliverance and comfort. Let us all say,
Amen.
Amen. Sher Kochech, Alice Weisman, thank you so much. Thank you, Bill, for holding the scroll of Torah like a champ.
Yasher Koach, Alice, you sing so beautifully. It is such a gift listening to you announce each month. And thank you so much for being with us here in person this morning.
And please remain standing as it's time to return the Torah to the ark. We have Yehalelu, page 41.
יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו. הודו על ארץ ושמיים, וירם כן לעמו. תהילה, תהילה לכל חסידיו, לבני ישראל עם קרבו. הללויה, הללויה, הללויה.
Page 43.
עץ חיים היא, למה חזיקים בה, ותום חייה מאושר דרכיה, דרכי נועם, וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש ימינו, חדש ימינו, חדש ימינו כקדם.
You may be seated.
And now I know a moment I always look forward to in the service, Rabbi Anibal's Devar Torah for the morning.
Is it already?
We're already there, yeah.
Okay, coffee will have to wait.
Do you have a joke?
What do you think?
I hope so.
I do. Wow. I actually have an audience for the joke. Please laugh. Yeah. Sometimes I can even tell jokes backwards. You have to start laughing first. No, but this is different. It's all about creation of the world. Because there was this little kid. He was curious about humanity. So he wanted to know, how come there is humanity on earth? So first he goes to talk to his father. I said, Daddy, how come we have people? The daddy said, well, millions of years ago, there were the monkeys. And they started to change. And then they started to change a little bit, and then eventually they become people. And here we are. The kid wasn't convinced. So he goes talking to his mother. He said, Mom, how can we have people? I said, well, a few thousand years ago, God created Adam and Eve. So they have children, and then the children have more children. And here we are. And the kid's confused. I said, hold on a minute. I just asked Daddy, and he told me that we come from the monkeys. And now you're telling me that we come from Adam and Eve. I don't understand. And the man said, that's easy. He was talking about his side of the family. I was talking about mine. So, I want to talk to you today about from zero to hero. And this is all about beginnings. This is all about new beginnings. And I know that sometimes we have great ideas and great projects, and we want to be there, and we want to be best, but we don't realize that things don't happen just like that. They take time. They take time. And if there is something that we can learn from, not just from life, but especially from the Torah, is to learn how to wait and to develop patience and to trust that eventually the right season will come. And as I mentioned before, this is all about new beginnings. Of course, this is a new beginning for Shaarey Zedek, but in the Jewish world, it's also a new beginning. And it's interesting because technically, the new beginning was Rosh Hashanah. But that was a few weeks ago when we have the new year. And then I was always wondering, why don't we start the Torah reading itself, on Rosh Hashanah? Wouldn't that make more sense? When the world was created, let's read Bereishit, let's read the beginning of the Torah, and that's it. And that is the beginning. But no, first we have Rosh Hashanah, then we have Yom Kippur, then we have Sukkot, and then we have eventually Shmini Atzeret, which is also Simchat Torah, and then kind of we finish the Torah there, and we start a little bit of the beginning, and then eventually the next Shabbat, which is today, we finally read the first part of the Torah. So why we have this waiting time from the concept of the creation of the world to the moment when we actually read it? Well, and I believe the solution and the answer to this question is also coming from this week's Parsha. When we read right at the beginning that God had a great idea. The great idea was to create the world. And we read the Torah. It's very exciting. Bereishit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. Wow. The ideal. Not so fast. Keep reading. And the haaretz hayta tohu baba'u ve'choshech al pnei tehom. And it was chaos and it was darkness over the earth. So yeah, sometimes we have the ideal, heaven and earth. But then reality hits, and it's not so easy. All of a sudden, it was chaos, confusion, and darkness, right? So what did God do? It's also very interesting. Immediately, God said, let it be light. Okay, first, don't despair. Don't get depressed. Don't get angry. Don't get bitter because the reality doesn't match your ideal. Wait for a minute. Let it be light. Analyze what's going on. And then God goes into the next steps of creation, which, by the way, took God 6 days to accomplish. And that is what we get to know as the 6 days of creation. Eventually, the seventh was Shabbat, and it's also that part that is part of the creation. But I was thinking, why will the Torah present the creation of the world in those terms? God is God. God can create the world like this. Let it be world. Poof! Everything is created. No. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. Not only that, after every day, God will say, and it was good, and it was good. Then the third day doesn't say anything, but then it was good. Why would this God's good? Because God is actually teaching us something. God is teaching us that whenever we have an ideal, chances are the reality won't match it. And then we have to work hard toward making that ideal a new reality. But it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. The Torah is almost saying, look, it took 6 days to God. What are you expecting to take to you? Are you expecting to have your ideal materializing overnight? No. Life doesn't work that way. You have to work hard, day after day, to create your new reality, day after day. And I was thinking that this is a reality for so many things in our lives. I even look at you right now. Yeah, we have the ideal of having this place packed with people. Whoa, hold on a minute. It doesn't work like that. It takes time. It takes planning. It takes logistics. That's why, for example, we started with Shabbat mornings, and then eventually we're going to move to daily Minyans. but we cannot do it just like that. We have to be responsible. That's why God is saying after every day, it was good. What does it mean it was good? It meant that God was comparing the creation to his plan. Okay, first day should be this. It happened. It was good. The fact that God is teaching us not just patience, but also responsibility is something that we should learn whenever we try to do something in our lives. And I think so many examples. I was talking the other day with my son, that he lives in Chile, and he's in medical school. He's been there for 5 years. He always wanted to be a doctor. Ideal, I want to be a doctor. Well, hello, welcome to reality. You have to go to university and wait a few years before you're ready to become a doctor. And that's what he's doing. But eventually, every time that he goes to university, he's a step closer to going from ideal to reality. And then when I was thinking about that, I asked my wife, how many years did you go to university? Because she always knew she wanted to be a scientist. But how many years did you go to university? 13. Well, but it took her 13 years to go from ideal to reality. But eventually, she is enjoying the reality she created thanks to her patience and responsibility. And I believe that we can all learn from this message, from this week's portion. Because we all have ideals in life. We also want to make those ideals a reality as quick as possible. And that's okay. But it doesn't mean that we don't have to play our parts, and we have to do it the proper way. The proper way is like God creation. We don't skip steps. God didn't go from day one from day 6. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We should also do the same. But what happened is eventually you will see that every day your ideal gets closer and closer to your becoming a new reality. So let's get all inspired. But this week's Parsha, let's work hard on our ideals. And eventually, if we don't skip steps, we can go from 0 to hero in this new Torah cycle. Shabbat Shalom, and welcome, everyone.
Shikoyach, Rabbi.
Baruch Tiyeh.
Asher Koach.
Brother Leslie, thank you.
Well, the joke was funny, so that was good. And the teaching was very meaningful. Thank you so much. I think sometimes, as humans, we get caught up in this ideal, something comes to mind, and we want it to be like, but nothing really works like that. But with patience and perseverance and taking those steps,
Yeah.
look what we can build.
And it's interesting that I love to have a crowd that actually laugh from the joke. Before I had just had you, Talia, and Bill, but you get paid to laugh. They don't.
When is my check coming, Rabbi?
All right. Well, we're going to continue shortly with our service with Aleinu on page 44. You're invited to rise as the ark is opened. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא צם חלקנו כהם, לגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים עמם, ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו העליון, אבן מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום ושבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים עמם, ועל הארץ מתחת עינו, ונאמר
והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד.
This past week, we honor the memory and mourn the passing of Archibald Honigman, Asher ben Shmuel ve'etachaya, Alvin Wexler, Gladys Kimmelman, Pauline Evison, Penina bat Sarah, Adrian Gabuti, Chana Rachel bat David Chaim ve'tzipora, and Sharon Melnisser. On the 26th of Tishrei, we observe the Yahrzeit of Isidore Book, Sylvia Kumano, Sora bat Yitzchak v'Sophia, Tessie Dansker, Sasya bat Betzalel, Eddie Lomo, Yudel ben David HaKohen v'Gitel, Morley Manuk, Moshe ben Yitzchak v'Mariam, and Phyllis Shankaro, Zipporah bat Nachman v'Gitel, of blessed memory. This week, we commemorate the Yahrzeit of Anne Sprecher, mother of Larry Fleischer, Moshe Aaron Chachanov, husband of Shelley Chachanov, Myrna Mitchell, mother of Bruce Crystal, Philip Sweden, father of Jackie Sweden, Erwin Weitzman, father of Ann Weitzman, Elizabeth Weitzman, grandmother of Ann Weitzman, Belle Sawyer, mother-in-law of Toby Sawyer, Isidore Sipe, uncle of Jackie Sipe, Anna Mindell Feldman, grandmother of Jackie Sipe, Chaim Suris, grandfather of Thelma Suris, Jack Harold Flom, father of Martin Flom, and Etsy Falbird, the child we honor and remember through one more candle. We turn to page 46 for the Mourners Kaddish. Mourners, those observing Yahrzeit, as well as those who wish to join me in saying Kaddish for someone who has none to say Kaddish for them. Let's recite the Kaddish together, page 46. Yit Gadal ve'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach Yerutei ve'amlich malchutei. V'chayechon u'vyomechon v'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael. V'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei al-maya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudesha b'richu.
Brichu.
La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. Yasher Koyach, Leslie.
Baruch tiyeh, Yasher koach, Rabbi Anibal.
Rahatihi. Yasher Koyach, Tali.
Baruch Tia.
Bill Weisman. Yasher Koyach, Rinan Sector, Baz, where are you? Oh, there you are. Yasher Koyach to you too. And to all of you for coming out today to celebrate Shabbat together in person. It's good to see so many faces. Thank you so much to all of you for tuning in. And thank you for letting us into your homes. I hope you have a good experience. We have great dreams, great ideals, and we are dreaming big to make this service the best possible experience regardless of you decide to come here or you decide to stay home. The idea is that no matter what, you will always have the best possible experience coming your way from Shaarey Zedek. So stay tuned for great things that we have coming your way.
And of course, a lot of that has to do with Marvin. Thank you, Marvin, and Yasher Koach.
Thank you, Marvin.
The one and only. We used to say my favorite Marvin. I will suggest to change it to the one and only.
Absolutely.
The one and only.
But the one and only has to get a mic so he can say hello to us.
Oh, he should get a camera.
That too.
It's like he doesn't have any.
But
It's up
just
to him.
Just like creation, let's start with the mic first and work towards a camera.
Okay.
And now,
So now let's finish. Let's
page
finish.
47, Adon Olam. Which tune are you going to play this morning,
Yes.
Rabbi?
Let's do the Freilich one. Yeshiva boys,
Hey. You
choir.
can clap, by the way.
I was too excited.
Adon olam, asher malach, b'terem kol yitzir nivra. Le'ed nasa v'chefto kol, azai melech shemo nikra. Adon olam, asher malach, b'terem kol yitzir nivra. Le'ed nasa v'chefto kol, azai melech shemo nikra. ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא. והוא היה, והוא הווה, והוא יחיה ותפארה. אדון עולם, אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא. לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. והוא אחד ואין שני, לעם שלו להכבירה. ולי ראשית ולי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה. אדון עולם, אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא. לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וצורכם לי והצרה. והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ויום אקרא. אדון עולם, אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא. לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. בידו אפקיד רוחי, ותישן והירה. ואם רוחי גוויעתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא. אדון עולם, אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא. לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. אדון עולם, אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא. לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא.
I just wanted to add something because I think this is the first in-person Shabbat where our new ED is here, Ron Yukashi. We should sing Baruch Haba, Heveinu Shalom Aleichem.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Shabbat Shalom.